Hello, welcome back to my channel. Here I have an aluminum panel already sanded, which I just use gloss off to rub the panel down to where there's no shine on it. And I am coming in here with a stencil to do the eye of a dog. This is sepia, the color. And I'm using an eraser to kind of go around where I had got a little bit of overspray. The drawing on here was done with just tracing over the picture with carbon paper underneath. That's why it looks so dark, which I don't like, using carbon paper. I would rather use Sorel, but I didn't have it handy. So use this, and you really, if you use carbon paper, you really have to kind of wipe it off because it doesn't mix well with the airbrush paint. And I'm using Holbein ink. I had tried the E-Tac, which is a marvelous paint, but it's just not for fine painting. It's for t-shirts mostly. I do love it, but I found a way, if I just put a drop or two of acrylic clear pledge in it, it works fine. But the thing with that is it makes it a little bit more difficult to erase to get your highlights. So, it's a give and take with anything. You just keep trying different things. I am just using up the sepia here on the other side of the dog because I'm going to be spraying that color over there in the ear to darken it up. Starting out with sepia first because I can always darken it as I go. We don't want to just go straight in with black because it dulls your picture. Using the stencil again to put some coloring in the eye now. If you go to my posts on my page, you'll see the picture of the dog that I am doing, and you can print that out any size you want and paint along with me. Just adding a few little, specks, darker areas in the eye where it's going to be darker. And then, of course, the eraser which I actually picked up to Mars and should have just used my really tiny soft eraser, or a small dowel will work too, to take off some of the overspray to actually make it look like there's a bright highlight in there. And here I'm coming in with some Caribbean blue for the eye, and I think I still had a little bit of the sepia in there because Caribbean blue is a really bright color and it's not coming out so bright, so I will fix that later. Taking out a little highlight here, and then I'll be spraying the blue back over top of the highlight, and it gives kind of a see-through look, kind of. Using my X-Acto knife to kind of pick out some highlights. The eyes are the most important thing. If you get the eyes wrong, using my X-Acto knife to take out a little bit of highlights on that left side there. And I sprayed some of the yellow over on the right side because it's going to be kind of an orangish brown color when I sprayed it on the eye. Here I'm using the opposite end of that to go around and darken the eye in that crevice. And my airbrush just blew out a little bit, which it does to all of us. And I'm just kind of using sepia to darken the area on that left side there. And the little places where I know it's going to be dark. I'm just kind of, if you notice, I'm shaking my airbrush back and forth to get that fur look. And I'm really not up real close. I could get a lot closer for a fine line, but I'm not. I'm kind of back a little bit because the fur in this photo is not real tight. It's kind of a loose. And again, I'm shaking my airbrush back and forth because I want those little indents around there because it makes it look more real. Here I'm just putting in some little areas where the fur is going to be. And we have some dark under the eye too, so I'm spraying that in. And when you spray the light over top of this, it makes it look more like a shadow under there. So here's the little eraser I love, and I actually just went too far, erased it too far, but I can come back and fix that always. I'm putting some little marks on that right side there because erasing out some little marks because when I spray the color over top of it, it will make it look like highlights. And here I'm just kind of going in randomly with that eraser and making some fur movements. Now I'm coming back in with burnt sienna. This dog really has that color, brownish red. It's kind of like my dog, which I love to paint them. And that's why I chose to do this portrait. And I got the artwork off of, I think it was Vtz, starts with a V, Vtz or something like that. And then you can get free reference photos off of Pixabay. And let's see, here's another one that I use, Unsplash, I think. .com. They have some free reference photos. And then of course on Facebook there's free reference photo groups that you can get into where you can get lots and lots of photos and pictures that are free for artists to paint. I love painting wildlife, trees. I haven't done a landscape yet, but I probably will later on for those of you who want a landscape. If you would like for me to show you how to paint something on this channel, just leave me a comment and I will get it sooner or later. I'm not real good at looking at my emails and comments, but I will finally get it, and then we'll see about painting something. I actually was thinking about doing ripped metal because I don't think I've done that yet. And those little highlights just make the eye pop out more. And of course, you can always come around and darken it. I'm using my Mars eraser here to go through and get those highlights and the overspray off. Of course, there's going to always be more overspray on this white because there's a shadow in between the eyes where the fur goes up. So we'll be spraying some gray in there. And I'm kind of just erasing out some little highlights here and there on that right side. But when I spray over it again, it will just make it look like highlight. I think I'm going to come in with a brush now. I put it in a little bit more yellow because I kind of erased it out where that bright highlight was in there. And then I got some down below on the lid, under his eye, as you can see there, that I have to come back in once again and take out. And that's the process that we go through when we paint. And this area up here had already cured, which I found kind of weird because usually it takes 24 hours overnight to cure. But I was trying to erase out a little bit on that right side of that pupil. I'm coming back in with a thin line, or just a thin line art brush. And I'm putting those dark areas under the eye and over the eye. It's more darker at the top. And here I'm darkening up the pupil. And if you notice at the bottom of the pupil, there is some just little dots. So I'm kind of just being a little bit sporadic with the way I'm using the brush there. And it's just regular black airbrush paint that I'm using, and I'm just using the brush just sporadically around the eye there, and it kind of gives it a darker look, and that's what we need. And it's okay to use a brush. You don't always have to use the airbrush. I could have used a black colored pencil. Thank you for watching. Come back again for the next section.